Now, the BLF says it hopes the meeting goes well, but it doesn't trust Julius Malema. BLF President Andile Mngxitama joins us now. Good to have you with us this afternoon, Mr. Mngxitama. Tell us why the reservations that you have expressed.
Yes, good afternoon. The EFF and Julius Malema has been the biggest nemesis on the side of President Zuma. We know that they've been the bulldogs, as we call them, of the enemies, the political enemies of President Zuma, which is white monopoly capital. Julius Malema has been leading marches saying Zuma must fall. We know that, in fact, up to Tuesday, they were still issuing statements saying that President Zuma must go to the commission. He's being irrational. They said he must be arrested. All of a sudden, yesterday, they say they want to have tea with President Zuma. It does not make sense. It does not follow. We have not heard any apologies from Julius for all the sins and all the horrible things he've said about President Zuma, but also the political betrayal. We know that Julius Malema has openly come out and said that he wants Johan Rupert, who is the chief representative of white monopoly capital, to give him money to topple President Zuma. He was the guy who was leading marches against President Zuma. So what is this tea? We believe it's a cynical ploy by Julius Malema to take the shine from President Zuma, who has taken a very radical stand against the commission and is a topical and named today President Zuma. That's the one thing. The other thing, we believe Malema is bargaining with white monopoly capital. He's bargaining with the same Stellenbosch mafia to get a better deal in whatever he's now negotiating with them, because we believe he's forever negotiating some deals with them on the basis of selling out the black agenda which President Zuma represents. So we're saying to President Zuma, have the meeting and we wish you well, but look, keep your eye on that tea all the time, because the man who's having tea with you is a consistent betrayer, is a consistent sellout.
And what do you know of the relationship between former President Jacob Zuma and Julius Malema? We know that there's a saying that there are no permanent friends or foes. How are they right now?
I don't know. I know what everybody knows. What everybody knows is that Julius Malema has turned against President Zuma. He has allowed himself to be used against President Zuma. He was the loudest mouth, the loudest voice against President Zuma. He organized a well-funded march by white monopoly capital against President Zuma. As we say, they issued a formal statement Monday to say that President Zuma is being irrational, and then they said that President Zuma must be arrested. What we know is that Julius Malema has been very angry against President Zuma and chose to make common cause with the political enemies of President Zuma against the black agenda which President Zuma is.
We seem to be having a bit of a problem with our connection, but hopefully you will hear this next question and we are actually going to be re-established. What do you make, Mr. Ngxitama, of the former President Jacob Zuma refusing to appear before the State Capture Commission of Inquiry? Do you believe that he has a valid reason?
We support President Zuma's stance. It's a correct one. It's an ethical one. The courts in this country have chosen to be completely biased, to become used for political ends. I mean, if you look to the reasoning of President Zuma up to where we are now, he has been given no option but to take a very strong stance. And our position is that we support it, the correct stance. This crisis is critically important to transform the judiciary of this nation so that it stays away from meddling in politics. Right now, the judiciary is another tool of white monopoly capital, and it has been consistent in, making really bad judgments against President Zuma, against the public protector, against anyone which is considered the enemy of white monopoly capital. So we support President Zuma's stance. We think it is radical, it is revolutionary, it is ethical, it is correct.
In the press statement that was released by your organization, BLF, you say that you don't trust Julius Malema. You say that President Jacob Zuma is a man of integrity who wishes for genuine unity. You've called Julius Malema a salesman, and you say that he has sold President Zuma out before and will sell him out again. Who would he be selling him out to this time round, according to your view?
Right now, the big battle is the same battle is intensifying between what we call white monopoly capital or Stellenbosch, those who own South Africa, and President Zuma is considered a symbolic representation of radical economic transformation, which is a program that seeks to transform the economy into the hands of black people, the land into the hands of black people. Now, Julius Malema going into this meeting with President Zuma seeks to weaken President Zuma to create the impression that he supports him, but actually we believe it is part of bargaining with white capital. He will drop President Zuma the next moment arrives in this war. So he's selling him still to white monopoly capital. The historical enemies that are fighting President Zuma want to silence him, want to jail him, want to terrorize all of us who are talking about radical economic transformation, specifically land and the economy. It's not about corruption. If the Zondo Commission was about corruption, the person who would be there is President Cyril Ramaphosa. What happened to the CR17 money and the fact that those who donated to him to make him president are being sealed? The nation does not know who gave the president money to make him president. That's a shocking thing. That would be the big first thing if we're talking about corruption. No, this is not corruption. This is a well-designed process to silence those who talk about real change, not those who are using radical rhetoric like Malema, using radical rhetoric to maintain the status quo. And we are saying to President Zuma, this man has sold you out before, he's going to do it again. Beware.
And why was it important for you as the BLF to actually be part of this and to comment on the tea meeting, the tea party?
Because, we are one of the few organizations that has stood with President Zuma when no one was willing to do so. No one. We were the first, and we have remained on the side of President Zuma. When everybody was saying it's a corrupt man, it's 700 charges, and we stood on the side of President Zuma when he said, President Zuma, we support you. All you need to do, even when we're still president of the country, we want you to push radical economic transformation, push the radical agenda. And by and large, President Zuma has done so. Who was the person who was stabbing the president on the back? Julius Malema. So when President Zuma, the man we love, the man we support, is going to have tea with this guy who has consistently sold him out, we have a moral and ethical and political responsibility to raise our voices and warn President Zuma.
Before I let you go, Mr. Ngxitama, what is the current situation regarding the BLF? In the recent past, you were having some registration issues. If you could just bring us up to date as to where you are and the well-being and the health of the BLF.
Very good news. Tomorrow, 11 a.m., we will be collecting our registration certificate at the IEC. We will hold a press conference there to give a way forward around whether BLF now accepts white people or not. What are we going to do about local government elections? And the fact that we are now ready to represent black people.
Do you believe that you've got a constituency?
Actually, all black people are members of Black First, Land First. They just don't know it yet. Anyone who comes to radical consciousness, understand what's going on in the world, we are the party for you.
All right, we'll leave it at that for this afternoon. That's the BLF's President, Andile Mngxitama. We'll be right back in just a moment with more of the day's leading stories.